Foldable smartphones are hardly a new phenomenon. They're not a new discussion topic. These things have been talked about, they've been written about, blogged about for years. It's hard to believe, but the first foldable actually didn't come out that soon after the iPhone 10 was released. So we're going back a number of years. Samsung, probably the most, I would say, most visible with the movement to foldables. And again, Samsung's culture is very much being first, being different, not necessarily being best, but saying, we're going to plant the flag here. This is where we think everyone's going to go. Does it matter what the product's like now? We just want to make sure you know we're first. That's how Samsung operates. What we saw subsequently from those initial foldable smartphones was, well, not a whole lot. At least here in the US, foldable smartphones have not garnered a lot of buzz and attention. We usually get the stories when a company announces a new foldable, but it quickly dies away. We have a couple of industry estimates for sales over the years. Nothing really worth writing home about. Some sales, yes, but nothing to suggest the mass market is embracing foldables at just a remarkable rate. And Apple has to move. I just don't see that. Now, there is chatter that in certain geographies, things could be a little bit different. Maybe you have an install base that overall is a little bit more on the verge of wanting to try new things, try new experiences. Maybe they would be open to foldables. But again, at least in the US, at least in Apple's primary target markets, there has not been this foldable movement causing Apple to stop what they're doing elsewhere and work on a foldable iPhone. Well, starting maybe a couple months ago, we are starting to get rumors of a foldable iPhone being in the works. It wouldn't be a 2025 event. Instead, it would be a 2026 event. Presumably, it would be a second half of 2026, so September, October type of situation. A lot of these rumors are coming from the supply chain. Is that to be expected? If you have a new product that's moving forward in the production process, there's going to be more and more people who will be in the know. And yeah, it's possible that you will get more and more information leaking here and there. I have long had an issue with foldables, and I've talked about this periodically in the Above Avalon Daily newsletter. A little while ago, I went back through the archive just because I wanted to see how many times I talked about foldables. So I actually just did a search for foldables. It is interesting. I haven't really talked about foldables in the last 2 years or so. I did talk a lot about them or more about them back in 2019 during the pandemic. That is when Samsung and others tried to make this a movement. They tried to get foldables to be the next phablet, in which they were first with phablets, and then they said, well, this is the trend, this is what people want. And yeah, they kind of forced Apple to go in that direction. We'll talk more about that shortly. But with foldables, I don't see that. I don't see that type of growing adoption to the point of it needing to be talked about more and more. Here we have Samsung, what, on their 20th iteration of a foldable smartphone. I'm kidding, by the way. It's not 20. It's probably closer to 10 or so. No.